There we go. Look at that. I'm too fucking clean. Ooh. I feel like I need to get rid of that Anansi. Hmm. Aloe. Is there anything I could do against an aloe? Not at this mana. If I do this, not yet. So I'll just take the opportunity to ramp. All right. No, I'm trying to set up for how this deck works. Kikma didn't show up. If you are hearing my voice, make sure you check the tournament chat for the adventure pass. All right, I'm first. I think I'm gonna get rid of a Nancy. So that's three. Okay. We'll get rid of an Anansi. Baba booey, baba booey. Goodbye. You may put a card from your hand in reserve. Sheesh. They have another Anansi right there. uh. Wow. Wowoo, wowoo. Back into your arms. Um. Sure does not. You may put a card from your hand in reserve. If you do, I gain one boost for each card in your reserve. And then the card they put in reserve is an Anansi. um. They don't have any removal. When a card leaves your reserve during the afternoon. Okay. I didn't actually want to anchor the little mouse. I was just gonna let it go, but yeah. But they can pick one back up with Hathor. They can discount one with Inkcaster. So they can just draw more right now. I think Fen is so strong. But I guess the current meta is just too hard for her. And they're gonna anchor all of these. My opponent didn't show. What's up, Salmon? Easy points for you. It's Iron Arma. I need to have some words with Iron Arma. They always falling asleep. It's a pretty good setup for them, just a little bit. Where did all this anchor come from? This freaking paper herald? This martingale too. Um, I don't even really know if getting rid of that is worth it, but these are gonna stick around for a lot longer if I don't. Fucking 10, 12, 10 right here. And I'll go up to not even enough for that. Ay, ay, ay. Still a very easy double move for them right here. Oh, they got a Hatter, so they're just gonna anchor it again anyways. Alright, AJT Tilly Papu, I better see you in the WCQ this weekend. Can't believe I also got to move out of that though. Maybe we'll get to have some fun because of it. Alright, sorry, Burb. Although you would have been fun, you gotta go bye bye. I think I'm cooked. If I would have gotten a little mouse, that would have been a little bit better. Yeah, because I mean, the move that I would want to do is to play this to anchor the will o' the wisp, but I'm not gonna survive another turn. So the snowman. Yeah, there's basically no way out of this for me. They can play this on either side and just win. But now we get to go to the other games. They're not winning yet, but now all they need to do is play one over here. Like a nice little aloe. Because you're not. Oh no, now I'm playing them. I don't even have any Muna uniques that incur as often as that Lyra card, which is pretty funny. All right. Who's on the bubble? Let's take a look. I know Dexter is, and then he's against Rinku next. So let's take a look at that. Dexter is behind by one. A big ol' Haven bouncer. Hmm. Ooh, that is such a good card for them to have. One mana. Does Dexter have anything? Hmm. Hmm. Oh man, this Haven Bouncer sabotages when it leaves the expedition zone. This is gonna be pretty harsh for Dexter, seemingly. Because they are not gonna be able to get the Icebound Peak unless they have some very specific things like Axiom Salvagers or Kellen Elemental. Two of those are gone. Axiom Salvager is probably pretty high chance that they have it. And then they'll have the Dragon, which will be pretty good. Kind of luckily, there's nothing for this Occlute to lock down. There it is. There's the Salvager. See if there's a way to get this dragon out. Because what the Salvager. Oh no. Unfortunate. Mm-hmm. You know, a straight up Ortis Spy works as well. Do they have another elemental from hand, though? Well, that foiled my plans. Dexter in the chat, so. What you got, Dex? I like how this traced is kind of built around countering Basira in a way. I'm not sure how often it pays off. Um, I guess a clue is more common right now than it's not, right? If you're playing Basira. Oh man, and the helping hand. Close, close, close. Alright, Shark Star 7. Are they on the. Where are they at on the leaderboard? Let's take a look. They are more so a newcomer. Uh. Did Dexter get a buy? Dexter did not get a buy. Uh oh. Alright. Who else do we have to watch? Let's see. So, the current top four is Elweeby, Runefolk, Bria Danwater, and then Dexter. Seems like Rinku is going to be able to crack into the top four. Notably, though, I don't see Runefolk. Oh boy. What was Freeloader running? Good luck against El Wee Wee. Ever loading the game. All right, let's look at two Iron Chains here versus Ben Kaizen. Two Iron Chains on their classic Arok and Rin. I have never beaten El Wee Wee. Kojo, nice. The NUC Kojo. That's a pretty good deck. Good job. Let's see who else could crack into the top four. Phobia is playing and could make it. Um, Argon could make it. There we go. All right, Kojo versus Basira. 1 for 1 already. Looks like a red versus a Haven Sarengar. Just a common red. All right. Two Iron Chains does have some really good Arok centered uniques. When you play another character with base statistic of 0, if you have 3 or more base of 0, I gain 2 boosts. 6 counters on day 3, very good as well. Scribbling Starfish, Bliss Basist, very good. I don't really have any uniques I've picked up specifically for Arok, but probably should. All right, let me check the bracket here real quick. So it looks like Bria Danwater did not make it, and they were in the top 4. Kaifu was pretty close to cracking into the top 4, but I do not see her in there. Overloss. Argon did get a bye, so that's a point. Interesting, interesting. Uh, I thought you said you had to play El Wee Wee. You got a bit to go. You never know, it could not be El Wee Wee. Okay. What are we gonna get from Arok? Oh, the starfish. All right. Here in Rinku versus Sharkstar, things are tied on the tumult. Hard to say Otherwise, resources are pretty even. Basira does have one extra landmark, but that could quickly change. Kyron's sitting here in the reserve. This turn could go a couple different ways depending on what Rinku has in hand. Oh, a Chiron of their own. Goes on to the red. Should be a very easy double move here for Rinku. And a single move only for Basira. Have to spend a decent amount of resources just to get the single move as well. Oh, I didn't count. I didn't count Bastion and stuff like that. So 1 for 1. And the milk. The milk and the Bastion and the Chiron together brings it over the top. Going into the next day, Rinku's going to have the Chiron and the Ishinboshi available. So seemingly not that bad of a turn. Let's check over here on the Arok game. When I go to reserve from Expedition Zone, Sabotage. And when you play another character with base stat of 0, anchor a character. It's another one of those. As of right now, it looks like 2 Iron Chains is taking this away. Sheesh. This Esmeralda. You may pay 1 if you do resupply. You may put a card from your hand in reserve. You may put a card from your hand in reserve. If you do, up to 1 target character gains anchored. Very nice. Yeah, this studious disciple is very classically going to get very huge. Interesting to put the aloe over there, maybe setting up for future turns. But this Persephone should be able to. Oh, no, it doesn't lock it down because it's the common. Ruh-oh. Ah, they had a plan to sleep the disciple the whole time. Yeah, you may dump your hand in reserve, right? Gotta anchor that guitarist. Now you just need to get a boost on it. Pretty good turn for Rin, though, for the most part. Let's see what the Auroch pull is. Yeah, that reserve is full. I feel like you just get rid of everything except for Persephone and Moon Druid. At this point, I don't really know why you would keep the Esmeralda, but I am wrong. Maybe wanting to really resupply something. This turn is make or break, though. Ooh, Mighty Jin. That is a pretty good card to pull right here. Don't forget to watch out for your games, as they will just auto go. Oh no! El Wee no showed. Yeah, so the disciple is whenever you play a character with base stat of 0, if you have 3 or more base stats of 0, so you only need one more, I gain 2 boosts. Alright, so I see why they kept the Esmeralda. I wasn't quite sure this was a festival deck just based on some of the other things that are around here. Um but it looks like 2 Iron Chains has nothing that he can do to stop the festival. Damn. That was a very good setup for the Arok here, though. Yeah, that was a very last minute clutch festival. This game is pretty neck and neck so far. One play, one loss, as is the way. That's how you do it. Wah. Yeah, you also lost to Tilipapu. Looks like Overloss took down Argon. Ooh. The top 4 could get a lot more interesting from here. I feel like I need to look at some Lyra uniques. especially for Arok. I just play what I have for with Arok for the most part. Losing focus. I need to make my deck for Thursday for in person. I haven't made like a wholly new deck for a long time. But I also just got my Anansi printed, so looks like Shark Star is offline and kind of running time down. Um, Getting this Mighty Jin out with a boost before the Occlute, pretty good. There is a Blade Dancer here for Shark Star that'll get really big though. Okay, so they're still playing. It just doesn't show them online. Hey, what's up, Insane? How you been doing? I should also see how many signups the WCQ is this weekend. 207. All right, we hit over 200 now. Dope. Training for London. Nice. Playing Traced, right? That Axiom Club forever. Yeah, this hero side can become very big for Sharkstar here. Something really cool you can do is you can play this Bravos Blade Dancer into the milk, let it gain the fleeting and the boost from milk, and then have the trigger where if I have 4 boosts or less, I lose fleeting, and then give it all the other boosts. The one from playing itself, the 2 from reserve, and then another from Basira if you want. Never build anything other than Axiom. Are there any new cards so far that have been revealed that are intriguing to you for Axiom? I think the signets are going to be really cool. I don't think we've seen an Axiom one yet, have we? I gotta look up the sheet. So, Ortis Signet, uh, I guess we've only seen the Ortis Signet. I'm excited to see what other signets are out there. I haven't kept up with the reveals, what interesting stuff is there in general. I think Rush is going to be very good. Um, and then Defect is going to be pretty cool. I would say the most nutty card so far has been Alelo. It's a dragon that in Ysmir also counts as a spell, and in Axiom it counts as a permanent. I think an expedition permanent specifically. Paju in common. Yeah, Paju in common. Defect. Basically, it says target card or like tokens or whatever switches sides. Like it comes over to you. Which we pretty much guessed when we saw Cowrie, because you're giving your opponent a token. A lot of people imagined that there'd be a way to get it back. It's gonna be very fun with uniques, though. This game is still very neck and neck. I have no idea how many Duel of Grits Rinku has, but I would bet it's more than one. Dog, dog, dog. Let's take a look at the rest of the bracket. All right, showing Cracker 8 is against Doombringer. Galindo took down GDR Beatbari. Uh, Tilpapu against Overloss. Overloss, of course, still on the Ghoulrang train. Ooh, but there's a Masectet in the discard. The Requiem. Here are some of those really strong uniques. Oh, sheesh. These are just gonna bounce anchored off of each other now. And we haven't seen the one that gains a ton of boosts yet. Yeah, that's who beat me game one right off the bat. Tilipapu. I think whether this Blade Dancer gets taken out or not is really how this game ends. Physical training is pretty good right here, though. There's still a path where it goes to arena, but I think the game is just over if that Blade Dancer goes bye bye. Look at all these going to be anchoring. You may put a card from your hand in reserve. If you do, draw a card. Very simple, very normal Atlas. All right, what you got, Rinku? Ooh, we're gonna see just everything right here be anchored. Boop. Anchored, all anchored. What do you have going on here, Rinku? There's gotta be a duel of grit, right? Dog, dog, dog. Vampire is a vampire. Ooh, alright. Mana eruption will do it. But going to arena, I still think that Rinku takes it. Interesting. Was it because the spy wasn't fleeting? So just denying more resources? I didn't get a chance to look at it yet. Very smart play. I think that's what it was. But this is kind of what I meant. If you can get around that Blade Dancer, Kojo just has more resources. Two cards in reserve right now, three in hand after manaing. The Basira doesn't have to mana, but it's also a Buddha turn. They've got about 3 minutes left in the game. Ooh, the Daedalus is a good card to have right here, though. Don't think it's quite enough. Ooh, rolled a 1. Also sequenced it kind of wrong. I assume just playing it out though. And that is gonna be GG. The game going to Rinku. A 1 and then a 2. Unfortunate. I think that puts Rinku into the top 4. So congrats to Rinku. All right. Let's see how many anchored things Tilly Papu has now. All of it. It's all anchored. If you control 4 or more characters, draw a card. Sacrifice character per minute to gain a boost. Pretty good, Silas. How did Phobia do? Did Phobia lose in round 1? Ooh, Phobia did. To GDR beat Bari. I screwed up one round forgetting that Daedalus gives boosts to stuff. Unfortunate. Earlier while I was streaming, I made some pretty stupid mistakes. So I feel you. All right, let's refresh here. So Rinku's gonna go up against Ben Kaizen. Tilipapu will go against the winner of Galindo and Showing Cracker. Showing Cracker coming out with a storm here. Let's see what they're playing. There will be an ad starting in 50 seconds. I have no more skips left. Oh, Showing Cracker is playing Arak. Ooh, interesting. No, the guitarist goes bye bye. Let me. When I leave the expedition zone, you may put a card from your hand in reserve. If you do, draw a card. It's a pretty cool little Hathor. I dig it. I know I have good taste. All right. Tilipapu is still waiting. Ben Kaizen versus Rinku down here. Ben Kaizen, these uniques. I guess this one's pretty good, especially if you get it anchored. But they could be better. Testament to the festival player. A different kind of brain. Have we seen one, two, three? We've had to have seen one Arok pull, right? I am tired this night, folks. Don't know about you. Ooh, very good little tiny Jin coming out here. So many boosts. Nothing that can boost this Bliss found currently. Can play it for free though. Maybe hopefully have a Daedalus or something to follow it up with. Maybe trying to work a way around this intimidation. Still an option on the table here though. And double ramp coming out of here. Ooh, is this what's gonna get intimidated now though? Kind of denies card draw for a little longer. But still 4 mana left. Be perfect for a double play of Daedalus. Nope, just gonna scout a skater. Scout a skater. Ooh. Alright. It was a mighty Jin all along. Still a double move for the Kojo. Going to have a bunch of mana. What do we got over here, Rinku? First punch. Got the sleep down, but at most, really only able to get one more condition. What would be the perfect 3 mana card in hand for a Rin festival right here? I think Rinku's got this right here, though. The best card you could have is basically another Persephone. Yeah, they pass. Rinku takes it. All right. I think with that, Rinku is definitely in the top four, but not safe. There's still a bunch of competition. Ooh, break the ice. Kojo still has that intimidation though. What does Galindo 95 do? Uh, does the Duel of Grit not even the intimidation? That's funny. All right, what's this Arok draw here? Nine mana. Do you think you need 10 mana to win here, Kojo? Let's see. Nope. No more mana for Kojo. But one more mana for Arok. Alright. Interesting. What you got in hand? You got a Lernaean Hydra? Oh, Sandman. It's a good card to have. I feel like at this point in the game, there's no reason to play it for free, though. Really, really contemplating that Sandman. Alright, so Rinku is going against Tilipapu now. We'll get that ready and loaded up. Plays the Sandman for free. Very interesting. I feel like that means you gotta have something good in hand. This Mighty Jin is gonna be a big old boy. Or not. Oh, the Tanuki sabotage. This intimidation still just chilling though. Very smart from showing Cracker here to put these two out with the intimidation in the reserve. Those are both not things you want to put back in your opponent's hand. I feel like if you would have used the intimidation, though, your reserve would have been empty and you could have gotten rid of the Tanuki. which of course could be replayed, but oh man, if this goes into arena, hmm, not going to though. Galindo takes it down with the intimidation that was chilling there for ages. GG is out there. All right, we got a 1-for-1 here in the Rinku versus Tilipapu game. Goodbye, Lyra Navigator. Very simple, unique there. I almost wonder if it's better to get rid of the tiny Jin. La da da. Ooh, the double discount. Is there something that can happen here from the double discount? Hmm, just one discount is enough. I was looking to see if they were gonna have something to block Rinku with, though. Ooh, the Amale getting mana erupted, though. Oh no, I was eliminated. The best viewers. I love the best viewers. Thank you so much. I will go collect them all. Mighty Mighty Jin. Okay, gonna do a sleight of hand. Put in a Hathor. Is the Mighty Mighty Jin going to get Requiemed? And then the Requiem picked back up. What are we gonna see here? Ooh, the Tooth Fairy. But it's when I leave the expedition zone, the sabotage. I think that Tooth Fairy might have been at a very, very good moment here, though. Also, this Martingale's already gone, and we have not seen the anchor setup going off for Tilipapu yet. Bum, 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 bum. Well, there's one of the starts to the anchor here. What removal? We've seen one mana eruption. Cha-ching! I feel like You gotta play it out, right? But also, there hasn't been any direct sabotage yet from Rinku. Goes with the aloe vera for the 4 mana. Mm-hmm. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay. What do we got here? A 1-for-1, huh? They're just keeping this game super neck and neck. Some scary cards in the reserve for Tilipapu. One of them gets taken out by that Tooth Fairy unique. Yeah, they're thinking hard on this one. The cloth cocoon though, just chilling there. Oh, the duel of grit on the paper herald. Dog, dog, dog. This is a pretty good turn for Rinku to be able to do some removal. Putting out the Haven Sarengar first also means if it gets hit with the Cloth Cocoon, still does draw a card, but then still has Buddha on the other side, opposite of where that aloe is. That Cloth Cocoon is still a threat because of the cost reduction on Martingale and technically Inkcaster. Yeah, it's nice because once you get it played from reserve or just fleeting in general, even if it gets removed, you'll draw a card. Getting hungered feel less bad, true. I'm just glad that the floral tent bug got fixed a bit back. Interesting. Tilapapu does not go for the cloth cocoon. Really just wants that companion side. Ooh, physical training. What does Tilapapu have in hand, though? This player is not playing. What can I do? BGA calling them out. It was the twinkle twinkle. Although not a straight up win. So while very good, still anybody's game. And now there's a big ol' red. Fan will also be first player. Kojo has so many cards though. Twinkle Twinkle OP. I knew that when the Martingale was played out and not used for cost reduction, I was like, there's gotta be something sneaky in hand right there. Of the Hounds. Should we see what what sponsors we have? We can play Match Masters, Heroes of History, uh, Warpath, Call of Dragons. Do you guys want to have a Altered Corner Heroes of History stream? Of the Hounds. The character in Twinkle Twinkle isn't in the game right yet, right? Oh, Rinku has a path to victory though with the physical training. Yeah, Call of Dragons is like one of those 4X games. You like build up a base and draw dragons and make them stronger and blah blah blah. Good job, Rinku. Now you move on to the finals. Did we already have an ad? Let me into the game. When was the last ad? Twitch. Might be smart to. Okay, I think it just did one. So we should be good for a bit. All right, Rinku has joined. Hopefully, Galindo did not fall asleep. Galindo. I think this is you. Aruzen is the human in Twinkle Twinkle. I'm thinking of it's like a sphinx, right? Twinkle Twinkle might be the chimera. So let's see. Yeah, because this is someone that looks familiar, right? So the narrator is Fen. Yeah, so Aruzan is. Yeah, I feel like we've seen her before on other cards, though, right? Or maybe these are two characters that could technically show up later. Acapella? Do you have to put a space? You do. That might be her, but it might not. Aru. Yeah, it's got to be the same person. Aru is young and still inexperienced. Fen. So Aru's got to be someone close to Fen, but let's see. Oh no, I think Rinku might win by default. Okay, so let's see. Oh wait, this is acapella. We want Twinkle Twinkle. Puppets. One of my favorite fables. So they're in the Ouroboros. I tug Quanic along by the ear. These must all be the kids. Fen's Chimera should be Crowbar, right? Huh. Interesting. So if I'm looking at this, um, I believe so. So some of the some of the terms are like interchangeable. So a chimera and an eidolon are kind of similar. And I think exalts are just people that go out into the expedition. I don't know. So a chimera are living beings that have become accustomed to living within the tumult, constantly mutating as a result. They are hybrid creatures with extremely varied forms, intrinsically marked by the tumult. So, like, Bliss Basist is a very, like, obvious example of a chimera. Um, some are peaceful, others are hostile to humans, but all have acquired the ability to absorb mana. And then an Eidolon is through the use of alteration, it is possible to materialize not only things but also beings known as Eidolons. These characters, drawn from memories, myths, tales, or even human history, can come to the assistance of human beings. So that would be like Amelia Earhart and stuff. Yeah, the lore is so good. Um so I would guess that most often the companions are um chimeras, but they're not all chimeras. I honestly don't like how um I don't like how the wiki is laid out. And it's not um the people's fault who like work on it. It's like how the web page is. So yeah. They also call their companions alter egos. But I believe Crowbar would be a chimera. And see, these are all the alter egos, which are companions. An alter ego is the chimera part of an exalt, a pair formed with an alterer through a Masubi ceremony. So yeah, an exalt is like people going into the tumult and adventures and blah blah blah. So like as a group they're considered exalts, I believe. But I don't think we've seen either of these characters like in their own card. Very interesting. I should post about it in the Discord. All right. Well, that that'll do it here. I am not too upset because that means I get to go to bed or get like relaxed at a decent time. But unfortunate that something happened to Galindo. But I will be back next week. Yeah, see you later. Watch Wolf 92. I will reach out to It's Rinku, the winner. Congrats to Rinku. Yes, hopefully they're watching or in the Discord. Oh, yeah, Rinku's in the Discord. I will get them a prize